Hello guys, welcome to another video of this channel. In this video, we're basically going to take a look at some ideas, business ideas that you can actually do as a student, right? So having been a student myself, I understand the challenges that comes with that, right? You need money to do a lot of things, to cover up your costs and things like that, right? So given that, we're actually going to be taking a look at some low startup kind of businesses that don't need much money to start, right? And also, it is important to understand that entrepreneurship actually develop skills, right? They help young people, especially students that are actually coming from the school system, to develop the much needed skills that they're going to use in the future. And also, today, like the digital world of today, has have basically created a lot of opportunities for many people. But it's actually easier now to start a business than it was, let's say, 2 decades, 3 decades ago. You have many tools and that actually available now that weren't available 2 decades ago. So yeah, that's actually a very good a good opportunity there that you can actually take advantage of, right? And also something that we're going to be taking a look at in this video is the simplicity and also the time that you are going to need to run a business, right? Since you'll be a student, right, you'll be maybe studying full time, and I presume that a lot of people don't have much time on their hands, right, to run a business. So we need businesses that you can run, right, without putting much time, like part time, right? So that is what we're looking at, right? So why should students start a business? Why should you as a student start a business? So as I've mentioned earlier, like there are many reasons for this. The very first one is to gain the skills that you need for the future, for the real industrial complex of the modern day era, but be able to be hired easily and take on the capitalistic economy of today. And the next reason will be to develop some sort of independence, like financial independence. You can actually do a lot of things on your own without requiring, your parents to pay for stuff that you might need, right? And as I've mentioned earlier, also like entrepreneurship actually build the necessary skills that you need. And finally, by being an entrepreneur, you actually create job opportunities for other people. So that's the good side of starting a business and running it, right? So starting with the very first type of business that you can actually run as a student. So the first one will be online tutoring, right? This means basically teaching online, right? You'll be helping other students with the subjects, certain subjects that are actually difficult, right? So this type of business is actually very easy to start. Right? All you need is basically maybe something like a laptop, right? The requisite and a webcam. Of course, like many laptops come with webcams and also a decent microphone, right? Once you have those things, it's actually easier to start. Right? If your laptop has like PowerPoint and other things, you can actually schedule and make your lessons there without any problem, right? So you can actually offer different types of services, especially tutoring services in mathematics, science, and basically the languages. Now, if let's say you are not much of an expert in mathematics and science, many tutors that I usually see online out there, they focus on languages a lot, right? Like especially some traditional languages, like English, right, and French. I would say those are common. And they also focus on other languages that are difficult to learn, like Mandarin, maybe Japanese. And the main point is that people, different people, they travel a lot, right? People go and visit other countries, and usually, if you want to enjoy yourself when you visit another country, you have to communicate with the locals, right, with the nationalities there. So learning a language is actually a very good, asset. It makes your travel much more easier. And again, especially for those that want to stay there. Now, today we have got like digital nomads that feel like you don't have to stay in a single country in order to work and earn some income, right? They can actually do a lot of things remotely. So I've seen people doing that. So this kind of I say work, it allows people to become digital nomads, right, and move to other places where costs are less. Now, I've seen this with the US, right? Especially those that are allowed to work remotely, right? They can be working for a company in the US, whilst maybe living in South Africa or in China or China. I think they have files and stuff like that. But maybe somewhere in Thailand or where the value of the US dollars is actually a little bit higher, right? So you can actually live a much more affordable life there. And I've seen this kind of trend a little bit growing, and such people often need some sort of tutorial services, right? In certain languages for those particular countries that they will be living in or in which they are moving in. So that is why online tutoring is actually a very, very good service that you can actually offer. The next type of service that you can provide is freelance services, right? Now, by freelance services, tutoring can be a freelance service, but here it's a little bit broad, right? We are kind of mixing a lot of things. For example, I was a freelancer, and I'm still a freelancer, whereby I do some sort of graphic designing, right? I produce business people, stuff like company profiles and posters, banners, and things like that. So this is the type of freelance that I'm talking about, right? Where you can be a graphic designer or you can write and edit. Now, on writing and editing, to be honest, I don't think it's something that you are going to get clients on, right? Unless if you're doing creative writing, where you are writing like stories and things like that. But on writing, I will not encourage anybody to do that. Social media management is something that is actually growing right now, right? Um, People, especially that have businesses, they do have social media accounts and pages, but they don't have time to post and things like that, even comment. So it's up to a social media manager to do that on their behalf. So if you can set up yourself, right, as a social media manager and help businesses run their social media account and post, on a daily basis, this might become some additional income for you, right? So video editing and content creation, which is basically what I'm doing right now, right? I create videos, edit them, right? And simply post on YouTube. Then YouTube rewards me with ad revenue, right? But of course, like right now, this channel is not that much, but I do have another channel which I do which I've already monetized, right? So yeah, that's the nicest thing about offering freelance services. So the next type of business that you can actually do is a campus-based business. So what are we talking about here? So if you're in a campus, right, you can actually provide other services that are kind of like not necessities as such, but things that students might right? Like selling food snacks. Right? So if you're in campus, right, you can actually do a small business to assist students with whatever they want. And again, it doesn't need to be providing a solution as per se, but you can actually do other things like selling snacks, beverages, things like that. What I realized personally when I was a student is that some people are actually offering services, so printing and photocopying services, right? So you can actually offer that too. And another thing, right, while we're still on that, there is a video of, I think, Elon Musk. Now, in that video, I think the YouTuber actually, he was just talking about Elon Musk's, stays when he was still in college and what he used to do, right? So what he used to do is that he used to sublet his room, right? And like during the parties, right, and he would charge students that were coming to his room and make money from that and pay the landlord. So that's one of the things that he used to do, but I don't know if you're going to get in good books with the landlord if you're to do those kind of things. So I would say stay away from that. And also what you can do is you can actually sell study materials or notes to students, right? But I don't know if that's actually something that you can actually make money from, because I remember when I was in school, right? I used to borrow notes from people, like people that were in front of me that were in the next level, will simply leave me notes, right? And they just gave them to me for free. So I didn't buy anything. And you can also do photography if you've got a camera, right? Yeah, taking pictures of students and then getting paid to do that. So there's something that you can actually do. So moving on to the next type of business that you can actually do as a student, and that will be e-commerce, right? So for e-commerce, what can you do? You can do drop shipping. When drop shipping is when you create a shop, and then within that shop you actually sell products, right? And you use something called Shopify, which is some sort of a program that you can actually use to create a store. So I'm not going to get in deep with that. I think there are actually many videos that you can actually research on that. So that too, you can do that. Drop shipping, and you can actually start selling things online. But again, apart from just doing drop shipping, you can actually open a store again on eBay, right, and sell maybe used products and things like that. But again, I think this will need you to be a little bit hands-on, and it might again take away your time, and you must also have some sort of storage, right? Where if you are to sell clothing, you're supposed to have them here. Dropshipping, it actually make it easy because you don't have to possess the physical item. All you need to do is to kind of act as a third party, right? Then advertise something. When someone or a customer buys from you, your store, you simply purchase from a cheaper store, which will be maybe AliExpress or something like that, and then you ship direct to the customer. So that's how it works. So I like running an e-commerce like eBay, where you need to have the actual physical product within your facility. In dropshipping, you simply take the difference. That's what you do. So it's actually a smarter way of actually doing e-commerce, right? Whilst we're still on that, the other thing that you can actually do is selling handmade items. So these are the things that you can actually make on your own. But again, here there's a problem of time at where you need to be hands-on in making the actual product. So that is something that you might face some difficulties in the time that you don't have right there. So yeah, it might be a problem right here. But again, if you've got time to create some products, maybe make a few things that you can do, maybe beads or something like that, yeah, it can be something that you can do with a side hustle. And the next type of business that you can actually do is digital content creation, right? As I've said, I think I mentioned this before, like starting a YouTube channel, right? Like the one that I'm doing right now, even creating educational content, right? Very, very good. You can monetize your stuff through ads and sponsorship, right? And you can use platforms like MoneyTech to do that, right? And like basically build your own personal brand around your content. So in short, basically those are the types of businesses that you can actually start as a student, right? So what type of challenges can you face as a student when you're running a business, right? Now, the first one is the capital, right? Sometimes you might not have enough of it. So that might be a problem, right? Especially when it comes to starting up your business, right? Time management, as I've said, like you have to balance between your studies and your business, right? So of course you have to allocate more time to your studies, of course, because I mean that's why you are there, right? You are there to study and not start a business. And three, you might not have the experience, right? That is actually needed to run a business. So you will be using this as some sort of a on-job kind of learning, but you learn as you go, but as you're doing this stuff. And another reason will be the competition, right? Uh, Other people that are actually doing the same stuff as you, right? So that might be a problem. So what can you do then? Like, what are some of the tips that I can give you in order to increase your chances of success? Now, the first one will be to start small, right? And then gradually increase, right? The amount of revenue that you have, start with a small amount. And if you see that there's consistent demand, right? And more people are interested in the buying, your stuff, then you can put more money into that. And two, you have to actually concentrate on things that solve real problems, right? And not things that are kind of an option. Now, talking about that, I think it's something that personally uh, I've experienced, right? Where I provided a service which is basically not needed but wanted. So that might be a problem. So concentrate on things that people actually need. And another point is to use social media for marketing, right? Use Facebook, Instagram, use those things to reach out to your intended market, your target market. So do not relax on marketing, because marketing at the end of the day is the fuel that drives your business. And the last point on that will be to manage your time effectively, right? As a student, as I've said, you don't have time. You have to balance between the studies and the business that you're actually trying to run. So guys, that's basically all about this video, right? So that's the information that I have, right? So I would say um try to, test some of these ways and see if any of them can actually create some sort of a revenue stream for yourself, right? And as I've said, like, if you succeed right here, it can actually make your life easier, right? You can get extra revenue that can help you cover your costs, right? Because I remember I told you guys, I think in one of the videos, that I used to work for Humantic, and through that I was able to generate some income, that I was able to use in school, right? I was able to at least to do certain things that I couldn't do if I was to ask my parents for money and things like that. So I did a little bit of hustling, side hustling, and I'll say it helped me a lot. It helped me a lot. In fact, I think I had a perfect life as a student, as opposed to now, I say, because I don't know, maybe it's because I have a lot of responsibilities now. You have to pay rent, especially in other. So I've got a small business, so and things like that. So maybe I have more responsibilities now than I had back in the day. But yeah, this is actually something to take a note of. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and until then, see you in the next one.